Hello. I am going to make a video on Tartaros. A couple of my guildies were having trouble doing him on hard. I can't do him on hell yet, but I feel like some of my guild members, or maybe most people, don't really understand how Tartaros works, and I didn't for a while until I fought him a whole bunch of times and figured it out. So this is my team. I guess I'll go ahead and show the runes. Fang Yen, he's on defense, I believe. He's got 100 resist. He's pretty slow, but his passive kind of makes up for that. I'm mostly using him here just for his leader skill. So defense leader skill is important for me because my Brandia is not very tanky, and she needs the extra defense to survive. You can replace Brandia with just about any damage dealer. Crow would probably be the best one. Fang Yen, we can look at replacements for him in the monster box later, or in the monster search. I would just search for the guild defense lead and Wusa. He's a pretty premium unit after the buff. His extra damage is really nice now. It also heals. But the main reason that I bring Wusa is the shield. So he can actually be replaced by Akasis, which is the Wind Sylphid, and her shield actually gives more hit points than his, and she gives a increase glancing hits buff to your team. So she may actually be better than Wusa in the raid. I just don't have her built, and Wusa has been working for me, so I haven't bothered building her for this. But she's a nat 4. She is a lot easier to get skill ups for her, and I feel like most people probably have her. So she's a good replacement for Wusa. Everybody has Fran. Michelle's a nat 3, and she doesn't have to have crazy runes in order to work. I'll go through and actually show all the runes real quick, just since we're here. So Fang Yen. And my artifacts, I'm not to the point where I really farm artifacts that much yet, so his artifacts aren't anything crazy. The Fran, so I have two Frans. One of them is Violent and one of them is Swift. And I originally used my Violent Fran, but then she kept Violent proccing and the boss getting attack bar after every turn. So in order to get more damage onto him and enable my units to actually be able to use their skills more before he attacks, I used my Swift Fran. And then Brandia, like I said, she can be replaced with Crow. And then Michelle. All right. Okay, here we are on Tart. So I feel like most people don't really understand all of the skills because there is a lot going on. And when I'm explaining this, I'm going to refer to Tartaros as the left arm and the right arm, which can be interpreted either way. So whenever I'm talking about it, I'm going to refer to the left arm as his left arm as we're looking at it. So right now it has the rage pattern, and the right arm as we're looking at it. So right now that has the destroy pattern. So basically what happens is he does right arm attack, left arm attack, double attack, and then breath attack. And while that's happening, his right arm is going to be imbued with whatever rune pattern is on the right here. His left arm attack is imbued with the left pattern over here, and then his breath attack is always imbued with the middle. So his first attack that he does is going to destroy my hit points by 50% of the damage dealt. His second attack, since his left arm is going to go afterwards, is going to destroy whoever does the most damage. and then he's going to have an attack that goes through the shields, and his breath attack is going to hit me twice. So the breath attack, as most of you probably know, the first hit strips, and then it tries to give oblivion and silence. So there's a couple of different passives here, and we haven't defeated the mini bosses, otherwise this would be really easy. So as you can see, it increases either the hit points, the attack power, or the defense by 150%, depending on which one of the mini bosses is alive. The immemorial time passive, so this just gives him attack bar after any of your monsters get their attack in, and it disables team ups. So you don't use Hikaru in this, don't use Rauk in this. Whenever you're using Crow, if you use him as a Brandia substitute, don't use his team up because it doesn't do anything. So Ruler of the Labyrinth attacks and stuns everybody whenever we destroy one of his arms, and it increases the attack power by 50%. So the first thing that I'm going to do is put a shield on, and Fran, this is a super important part, Fran needs to keep an attack debuff on Tartaros, and that's going to be easier if you have Fang Yen replaced with Bastet, because her skill 1 also does attack break. Fran does a great job. You just have to keep that in mind while you're doing it and kind of count out the attacks that he's going to use. So like I said, the biggest hurdle for me is this destroy pattern. So I actually like that we're getting this first, because I can use Wusa's shield and he won't destroy any hit points because he'll be attack broken, ideally, and he won't go through the shield. So we'll shield up. Fran's gonna attack break him, and I'm just gonna use Michelle's skill 2 to extend the shield just in case either Fang Yen or Brandia get violent procs. I'm gonna try to keep the shield on them so their hit points don't get destroyed. And then defense break. So Brandia's skill 2 with the glancing, as well as Bastet's skill 2 if we choose to use her, is going to be very important. I don't like using her skill 2 until he is on his Ruthless Strike attack, or his double attack. The reason being is because the breath attack is the most dangerous attack that he has, and if you can get the glancing debuff on him, he has a good chance to glance on some of your monsters whenever he's going for the strip. So then he won't strip your monsters of their immunity and shield, and it just increases your survivability a lot. So I'm just going to stick with skill 1 for now. Skill 3 is going to come whenever I have an attack buff. So, and I may have mentioned before, I don't remember, but I always go for the right arm first because the destroy pattern is the most dangerous for me, and there's also a rage pattern on at least one. I think it's the other 2 elements, but at least one of the elements for sure has the rage pattern over here. So we're gonna slap the attack buff on everybody. Alright, he didn't go through the shield, perfect. Keep the defense break. Okay, so the next hit he does is going to kill somebody, the person that does the most damage. So depending on whether, if you're using Wusa, depending on whether you want him to die or your damage dealer to die, for me at this point it doesn't really matter. So I'm going to use my skill 2 on Wusa, and then I'm going to use Brandia's skill 3 to deal a lot of damage to his right arm. So Brandia is going to end up being the one to die, but just keep in mind it's not whoever has the most attack power, it's whoever deals the most damage to the boss. So skill 2, and then I'm going to skill 3. We'll go for the revive. Okay, so right now I really need to use her skill 1 for her attack debuff, and it'll extend out through the time that he uses his breath attack. Keep in mind that after his breath attack, he cleanses. So you don't want to stack debuffs on him when he is about to use his breath attack. You want to have all the debuffs on him now. That way, after he uses his breath attack, all of your skill cooldowns are lower, and everybody's closer to using their skills. So I'm going to go ahead and use the skill 3. Efficiency is super important in this, so just keep that in mind. And we'll talk about that here in a minute as well, because after we defeat both of his arms, the dynamic changes a little bit for this part, for this attack. I still want a glance to be on everybody. It failed. Ideally, I would have used that during his skill 2, but it wasn't available at the time, so. Ouch. Okay. So this is just the same deal, going after the right arm, because I need to get rid of the rage and destroy. So I'm going to use her skill 3. We're going to try to kill off Brandia again, which means that Wusa is just going to use, well, we could kill Wusa, right? And then use her skill 2. We're just going to kill off Brandia. That way when she comes back, I can shield up. Okay, we're not going to kill off the Brandia, but that's fine. Get the attack debuff. Okay, so since we have our attack debuff on, Wusa is going to get his next turn, so he'll be able to shield an immunity. So I'm going to make sure that Michelle stays super healthy. And also the boss has a good chance of glancing on Wusa, so I'm not too worried about the damage that he deals with this element. So she's going to extend everything. I'm going to try to glance. This is perfect timing because his breath attack will be glanced if she hits this. Bam, perfect. Perfect. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and try to take out his left arm. I don't think she's going to do enough damage, but we'll see. So everybody already has immunity. They've got the healing buff. Like, I'm not too worried about dying to the breath attack immediately after. Perfect. And attack buff, or attack debuff. Awesome. shield. Everything's going well. And now we're pretty much on easy mode. We don't have to worry about the right or left rune patterns on his shoulders. The only difference here is his third skill changes dramatically. So his third skill attacks the enemies randomly 3 times, and they will be at 1 HP. It goes through shields, it goes through everything. So 3 units will probably be at 1 HP. Sometimes you get really lucky and he ends up hitting the same monster twice, but generally you want to plan for 3 monsters having 0 HP. So what's going to happen here is his second attack is going to hit me. It's going to get me pretty low, but I'm not going to heal because this attack always gets me to 1 HP. So all of the heals are wasted if you use them before that attack hits you. So right now everybody is, well, after this attack everybody will be completely safe. Fang Yen is the exception to that rule because his passive will heal every turn. So using his skill 2 is still useful because it will still give everybody the health afterwards. And I should have healed there. That was really dangerous. But now I don't have to heal Brandia at all because regardless, if she gets hit, she's going to be at 1 HP. So I'm still going to try to use her skill 2 to do the glancing for the breath attack though. Perfect. Worked out perfectly. So now all of our heals are ready to go. And we can just smack him with a bunch of heals. I'm actually going to do his skill 3 so that we have the shield. And I've got plenty of healing coming in to heal both of them to full. So. Whew, my Brandy is so squishy there. As you can see, he does not always glance if you have the glancing debuff. So this one's actually going to be a bit easier because we still have Michelle to revive with. On his breath attack anyways, it's going to be a little bit easier. And he's only going to hit us once. So we are pretty safe. I'm going to go ahead and heal Fran because the boss has a chance to glance on Brandia. Also, I'm going to save his shield. So right now we need to heal, but after he does this next attack, we do not want to heal. Okay. So the shield isn't really going to matter here. We do want to get the glancing for his breath attack though. Didn't work, that's okay. And now we just shield up, heal up. attack buff, which isn't going to matter because Wusa is just going to do his thing. Oh, I thought that was going to kill him. And that is Tartaros on hard. So hopefully this was useful for some people. I'll go back through and show the runes because they're not anything crazy. Also, I'm going to go through and look at a couple of units that we could replace because I realized that some of these are nat 5s. Who could we use instead of Fang Yen? We just want to do a defense buff. So, monster type. Yeah, okay. So, I feel like, does Ophelia give a shield? I don't really use her. She does. She gives a shield and a guild leader skill. So she would actually be a good unit for that, I think. I still think that Bastet would be better because she has the glancing debuff. She's got the defense break. She also has the attack debuff on skill 1. And she's got 33% leader skill and a shield. I think Bastet is a wonderful unit to use there. I may actually start using her instead of Fang Yen now that I think about it. So there's a couple of replacements for the defense buff. The shield, I really highly recommend Akasis for this because she ends up giving more shield percentage. She gives the same shield percentage, I guess, right? Is it 15 or 20% for Wusa? Okay, so she does give more. I was right. So she gives more shield percentage, and she gives the increased glancing hits chance with her skill 3. She also heals with her Twister. It's not going to heal as much. It's not going to heal as much as Wusa because it's based on the specific unit's max HP instead of her max HP, but still a heal usable every other turn. So I think that Akasis is a really good replacement for Wusa. She's pretty easy to get as well. Emma has a defense buff and a shield. The only problem with her is that they have to be overhealed in order to get the shield, so I wouldn't suggest her, but she could be used as a replacement as well. And then the damage dealer, I would suggest Crow. Just be careful that you don't use his team up because it's not going to work. So there is Tartaros Hard. Thank you guys for watching if you made it all the way through, and I hope you have a good one.